The highly anticipated Blue Protocol StarResonance is finally coming to the West, and I have played it. In this video, I'll tell you everything that Blue Protocol StarResonance is and everything it isn't. First, let's start with what it is. It's an anime MMORPG set in a vibrant fantasy world. It's got a massive open world for you to explore, filled with quests, side quests, dungeons, puzzles, bosses, and more. Driving you through the game and keeping the pace up is a main story quest that has you feeling like you're the main character in an epic anime series. You'll meet interesting characters, saving some and losing others. Climaxing each section of the game is an engaging boss fight with interesting mechanics. From what I've experienced so far, this is a casual PvE game that has combat mechanics and systems that are deep enough to keep it interesting, but not so complex or difficult that you're gonna be frustrated. And if you're someone that's been waiting for this game, I've got some good news. This game is releasing this year. And despite the fact that I was playing on a pre-release build of the game, I'm happy to report that I only encountered one very small bug while playing the game. So it's looking like this is going to be a much more polished MMO release than we're used to lately. So what are the things that you care about in your MMO? Is it the character creation process? Is it character progression like talent trees, skills, and equipment? Or is it life skills like mining, botany, and fishing? Or are you someone that prioritizes the open world experience or dungeons and boss fights? Or is it monetization that makes or breaks an MMO for you? Don't worry, in this video I'll cover all of these things so that you know if Blue Protocol StarResonance is the MMO for you. And if the game looks fun, I put a link to pre-register down in the description for your convenience. Oh, and if you invite your friends, you can also enter a lucky draw for a chance to win exciting rewards, including in-game items and physical items. Shout out to A+ for partnering with me on this video. And before I continue, this is a pre-release version of the game, so it's not the final build. There might be some changes between now and launch. All right, the first thing that you get to do is create your character. There's nothing revolutionary here, but it's a solid character creator. You get to choose between boy or girl, and then you get to choose a few different body types, which is really just like one end of the spectrum looks like a child, the other end of the spectrum looks like an adult. And of course, after that, you get to choose all the usual trappings like your face shape, your hair color, your eyes, and so on. Once you've created your character, then you get to choose your class. You'll be able to choose between the Verdant Oracle, the Heavy Guardian, the Marksman, the Frost Mage, the Shield Knight, the Wind Knight, the Stormblade, and the Soul Musician. So whether you want to be a big tanky boy, an archer, a mage, an assassin, or even a bard, whatever it is you're looking for, they've most likely got it here. And each of these classes has two different specs at the end of their tree that you can spec into. I went with the Frost Mage because I love flashy spells. I love the crowd control and the range damage that they generally have. All around, it's just one of those archetypes I always enjoy. Now, the class you choose doesn't matter unless the game has great talent trees and great skill options for you to choose from that are going to differentiate one class from the next. The way the talent tree in this game works is you've got these forking paths and you can work your way down one side or the other, and it's not terribly important which side you choose at first because you will get enough points to spec into the other side. Once we put 30 points into the talent tree, now we have access to the expertise down here, tier 2, and we'll be able to activate either the icicle spec or the frost beam spec. And the frost beam spec is exactly what it sounds like. She shoots a beam of frost at the enemy like that right there. And the icicle spec specs into your icicles that you're firing at the enemy instead. Now, the skills section is actually done in a pretty interesting way as well. You've got quite a few skills to choose from here. You can slot your main attack and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other abilities plus 2 summons. And then for each skill, you can level them up. We can click on this one and we can either upgrade it or advance it. So there's 2 different ways to level it up. And then you've got your summons that you can collect while you're playing the game. Loads of these here. You'll summon an ogre or you'll turn yourself into a mighty colossus. That's just 2 examples out of the long list here. The mighty colossus, it charges up an attack for a really long time until it stuns the enemy. It basically fills up their break meter instantly so that you can wail on that enemy. And then finally, you've got more abilities here, which are float and phantom dash. These are 2 that you'll use throughout the world while you're solving open world puzzles. Float lets you jump into a jet stream that's blowing up into the air, and then your character will float inside of it all the way up the sky, and then you can continue to float as you make your way in whatever direction you want to. You'll continue to fall down slowly. The Phantom Dash lets you dash into these air bubbles that you'll run into out in the world, and usually there's some kind of treasure or something underneath them that you need to get to. As far as the equipment in the game goes, you'll find equipment not terribly often, it seems like. I've got equipment at level 10, and then I got equipment again at level 20. I'm now level 57, and I don't have higher level equipment except for some gloves I've got here, level 80 gloves that I am allowed to wear at level 60. So when I was going around leveling up, I probably missed some optional activity somewhere that would have given me some gear between level 20 and 60 that I don't currently have right now. But as you can see on the gear, there's quite a few stats on it. You've got armor, intelligence, stamina, mastery, haste, and then a locked effect that you won't find out until you've refined your gear. Now let's head to the gear workshop. We can use the auto pathing to take us to any place in town that we want to go to. So if you don't know how to get somewhere when you first jump into the game, that's okay. You can auto path to it as soon as you have a mount. And here you can see that we can reforge items, refine them, embed gems into them. We can dismantle items to get upgrade materials that we can then use to refine them. We can do gear breakthroughs and so on. So if we go into the refine menu here, you can see that if we had the materials, let's see, do we have enough materials? Yeah, we do. We have enough materials to refine these boots here. So we can refine it, and then it does the animation, and then you have a chance to succeed. And fortunately for us, the success rate here is 100%. So this is going to be one of those upgrade systems where you have a chance to succeed, and you may or may not succeed depending on how high level your gear is. And then you've got blessing materials here. The success rate is already 100%. So it's one of those upgrade systems where you can put blessing materials right here, and you'll probably be able to earn these by playing the game or buying them in the cash shop. But you can see now that these boots are level 1, and if we upgrade them to level 2, it's going to get 10 more armor and 20 more stamina. So it's increasing the stats each time. As far as where you get the gear goes, questing, killing bosses, the boss killing, especially the dungeons or the in-town dungeon, seem to be a fantastic way to farm new gear, but you get new gear in all the ways that you would expect. Now, this game has quite a large map. So you can see this zone right here, but if we zoom out, here you can see this zone here that I've fully explored. They've done quite a bit of activities here, and there's still quite a bit left to do as well. And if we zoom out again, you can see there's this whole continent here. So there's Asteria Plains, which I've done a lot of stuff in. And then you've got the Dusk Dye Woods, the Everfall Forest, the Windhowl Canyon. I haven't been to these zones yet, and this is what it looks like before you go to them. And then once you get to one of these little symbols here, it reveals a chunk of the map. That's what you would do when you get into the game. You'll run around touching these things, and then it removes the fog of war from that area. While you're running through this open world, you'll be running into a wide variety of different enemies. I found that enemy diversity in the game so far was good. I was constantly fighting a new creature, a new animal, a new beast, or a new boss. They did a good job of having good enemy variety. Another thing that you'll occasionally run into when you're out in the open world is you'll run into little puzzles to complete. Sometimes it's as simple as jumping into a wind current and using your float ability to fly up higher and get to an out of reach place, or sometimes it's something like finding a chain of coins that you have to run through and collect, and if you do it in time, then you get a reward at the end. And the world is littered with treasure chests, so always have your head on a swivel as you're running around this world, and you'll always be finding more loot for your character. And the game does have mounts for traversing this world. So here you can see I've so far unlocked this bad boy right here. Look at this guy. He does the job well, but we could also have this one right here, and you can see there is a difference between the mounts, so it's not just cosmetic. The running speed and sprint speed are both quite a bit improved substantially, going from this mount to this mount here. So there are quite a few mounts in the game so far, and you can see the stats on them, so you know which ones you want to try to get and which ones you don't care to get. But if you're like most MMO mount collectors, you'll probably be trying to collect them all. The game does have life skilling, so if you're someone that likes to get into mining or botany or, you know, chopping down trees or even fishing, then this game has you covered. This game had a really beautiful open world, so I went ahead and went with fishing, and the fishing worked simply enough. All you have to do is purchase some bait, which you can do by simply going into the fishing menu. You get some bait, you put it on your hook, and then you toss it into the water. And then you get a little fishing mini game if the fish is large enough to warrant that process. So if it's a really small fish, you'll hook it in right away. If it's a big fish that you have to fight for, then you have to watch the tension on your line and maneuver your pole in such a way that you don't break the line. So the fishing game is quite robust, actually, compared to your typical MMO's fishing game. The game also has a log, so you can track the fish you get and the quality of those fish. So we've got a 3-star of the Astermacker, and then right here, the continental puffer, I've got a 4-star. So you can track the quality of the fish and the number of fish that you've caught. And so I know there's one more freshwater fish I can try to catch. And then if I go to a city harbor, there's 4 fish there that I can try to catch. And even potentially a whale. That should be an epic fight. Now, of course, no MMO is complete without dungeons, and this game does have dungeons. I managed to find maybe 2 or 3 dungeons while I was playing through the game, what appeared to be dungeons to me. So we've got this Unit X research facility, which is kind of like a dungeon boss fight or a raid boss fight. It's really heavy on the mechanics, but you can go in on lower difficulties, and it's not difficult at all, but the rewards were great. You kill all these enemies along the way, solve some puzzles, and then finally you get to a boss room and you fight a pretty good boss fight there too with some decent loot. Now, don't worry if you're someone that doesn't want to play with other humans, you can play with NPCs. You can fill out your group with NPCs to fight these bosses. And because I'm playing on a pre-release build here with not a lot of other people around, I did go ahead and queue up into one of these solo with an NPC crew, and it worked just fine. Had no problem killing the boss. So my fellow introverts, you're going to be right at home in this game. And like I mentioned, dungeons have a wide range of difficulties. So if you're someone that wants more of a casual experience, you can have it. And if you want to have a more sweaty experience, you can crank the difficulty up so you can have that. As far as the monetization goes, they've asked me not to talk about the monetization that I saw in the game because it's still subject to change. All in all, this looks like it's going to be a solid entry for anime MMO enjoyers, especially the ones that enjoy a really deep and thorough story. There's a lot of dialogue, a lot of talking, a lot of cutscenes, and it just, like I said in the beginning of the video, it makes you feel like you're the main character in your favorite anime. I found the combat to be surprisingly enjoyable. There was quite a bit of depth. I found that the skills were very reactive. The enemies had good hit react. Your character had a lot of mobility. You had multiple dodges that you could utilize while fighting the enemy. So you felt like you had really good control over your character, and you were rewarded for taking advantage of your dodges, getting out of attacks, and countering the enemy. On top of that, in the first 60 levels of the game, I was able to access quite a few different skills and slot them on my bar, as well as 2 different summons that had completely different uses. One of the most important things in MMOs is the boss fights, right? That's what it's all about. You're getting gear, why? So you can beat the next big boss. You're getting levels, why? So you can beat the next big boss. Skills, talents, all of it, right? It's all so you can fight a really good boss fight. And so it's important that boss fights feel good. And I've got to say that the mechanics on these bosses were some of the better boss fight mechanics. They did a really good job of forecasting the boss's abilities and giving the boss abilities to forecast in the first place. A lot of the boss fights reminded me of some of my other favorite MMOs. And I mean that in the best way. Unfortunately, I don't have the exact release date, but they did say that it would be releasing this year. So if you decide to jump into the game, what class would you go with? Maybe a frost mage like I did, or maybe an archer, or maybe something more melee? Let me know in the comments down below. And be sure to click the link in the description to pre-register now so that you are alerted when it goes live. If you enjoyed this video and being kept up to date on the MMO genre as a whole, be sure to help me out with a like and a subscribe for more MMO videos. Thanks so much for watching. If you're not sure what to do next, maybe check out one of the videos popping up on screen right now, and I hope to see you in the next one.